So, welcome to the first episode.
Yeah, first episode
of This and That with me and you.
Yeah, this and that with me and you. And you are?
I'm Cassie.
And I'm Stuart.
And yeah, I guess a little bit about ourselves. We've been together for almost 3 years now.
I was waiting on it. Yeah.
Almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in July. We're getting married in October.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 kids.
Well, you have a biological daughter and a biological son. I have just the biological son with you, but I still consider them both my children. Yes.
Yeah. We were stepdad to my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's me vaping. I guess we'll start with this, which is, well, you know what? Before we do that, we'll talk about like why we're here. We're here because we really love murder mystery and serial killers and conspiracies and cults and
most of that is just you.
Cryptids and ghosts and spooky stories and.
Well, how about this? What are you really into?
Religion and.
Oh no.
Well, not organized religion, but alternative religions.
How about this? What are you interested in that made you want to write your segment?
Cults.
Cults?
Yeah.
All right.
Because it's something a little bit different than like everybody's kind of doing serial killer thing. Like I'd like to talk about them in the future, but.
Yeah, because I know like you watch a ton of true crime and
I do.
Tons of documentaries.
Yes.
I, on the other hand, listen to cryptid stuff out of the wazoo, paranormal. Yeah, but how many podcasts do you have to listen to that have only paranormal? Yeah, no, that's 100% me. I'm all about the paranormal, all about the occultist stuff, not occult. And, conspiracy theories. I've got my tin hat hidden around here somewhere.
I love conspiracy theories too.
So that is my segment, is going to be on a conspiracy this go around. And I've got a big list, so I could probably do quite a few conspiracy theories.
I got a big list of cults too, so I could probably do.
Oh, I'm sure there's tons of cults out there.
Well, today I'm going to talk about the Remnant Fellowship Church.
Alrighty. The Remnant Fellowship Church.
Yeah, ever heard of them?
No, that is the one I have not.
Okay, well, let's get into, I did like kind of a little bit of a biography on their leader. Her name is Gwen Shamblin Lara. Have you ever heard of her?
No, I have not.
Okay.
That's Shamblin Lara?
Yeah, Lara, I think. Gwen Shamblin Lara, I think, yeah.
All right, we'll go with that. All right.
So she was born February 18th, 1955. So she's like 5 years younger than my mom.
Oh, okay.
So mom's 70, so she'd be like 65.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Okay. So she's born in Memphis, Tennessee. Did I already say that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Gwen grew up in a very Southern Christian home with like really Southern Christian values. Her family were members of the Church of Christ.
Oh boy.
Churches of Christ generally see the Bible as historically accurate.
Yeah.
And literal.
Yeah. When I was a kid, like we're talking little kid, my mom and dad, when we first moved from one home to the next, we started going to a Church of Christ church, and it was intense. And my dad was all for it. My mom, not so much. But when we switched churches again, it kind of went downhill.
Yeah. So, like, I guess you can interpret, like, that how you want, but they're kind of like evangelistic people. What I can tell, each Church of Christ is a little bit different. They have a lot of offshoots and different beliefs. Yeah. But they believe baptism is the only way to salvation, which is pretty much the basis of Christianity.
Yeah, you gotta wash your sins.
Yeah, they also seem to be pretty old school, and like women and children dress in clothes that cover the body. Men rule the household, and women take care of the household. Like actually, those kind of churches, women are allowed to speak in the church and aren't allowed to speak out in public.
Yeah.
Growing up with Gwen was very devoted to her faith. Her dad described her as always having like this hunger for more, for everything in life.
So us.
Yeah. In 1978, she married David Shamblin, with whom she has 2 children, Michael and Elizabeth. Gwen went to college at the University of Tennessee, where she earned an undergraduate degree in dietetics.
So what is dietetics?
I'm not really sure exactly. I have no idea. But I think it like has something to do with like dietary, like nutrition, but so like with your brain too. I don't know. She has a master's degree in food and nutrition as well, with an emphasis in biochemistry. I don't know, Google dietetics. Yeah. I guess while she was in college, she gained like 15 pounds or something, and it was a big deal to her that she gained all this weight. And
15 pounds?
I know, right? But like, I don't know, I've never gone to college, but I feel like when you go to college, you don't have any money, so you probably don't eat like the healthiest. Like, and college kids like live off ramen and shit, right?
So I've been told.
Yeah.
So according to Google, dietetics is the branch of knowledge concerned with the diet and its effects on your health, especially with the practical application of the scientific understanding of nutrition. So basically, just a dietitian, but bigger-ish. Okay. So
while she was getting her master's degree, she started a weight control consulting practice in 1980 called the Weigh Down Workshop. It was a weight loss program with no food restrictions, no exercise regimens, no weigh-ins, or no calorie counting.
Now, how do I get into that?
Right? That sounds like just a bunch of bullshit, because like any diet you hear about like that doesn't work. Or like usually they say that about like diet pills.
It's the miracle pill.
Yeah. So as a part of her counseling center, Laura hosted the first class in a mall in Memphis. The program was offered as small classes in retail and non-religious settings. She began hosting the program eventually at a Bellevue Baptist church near Memphis in the 90s. The program consisted of 12-week seminars guided by videos and audio tapes featuring her.
Oh.
Yeah. The program was a huge success internationally, and she made millions.
Internationally?
Internationally, yes.
Damn. All right.
Like I saw a lot of the video responses to like her program, like from the 80s and stuff, of, you know, when people, oh God, like in commercials, people like will talk about, oh, this product is so great, like, you know.
Oh yeah, like they're supposed to be a person, you know,
a consumer, yeah. So like, and a lot of people say like it was like a program to get you closer to God and to lose weight, like at the same time. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. She published The Weigh Down Diet, a book that advised readers to use spirituality to avoid overeating, in 1997. The book sold more than 1.2 million copies.
Good Lord. All right.
The Weigh Down Diet teaches the love of food should be transferred to the love of God, to a love of God.
Wait, transferred to?
Yeah, your love of food should be transferred to a love of God.
So like you can't have both.
Right. So to cut food portions in half and only eat when you're hungry.
I mean,
there were quotes like the rumble, like you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner on your body. You don't eat until you hear your stomach rumbling.
Yeah, so like I do.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say that because when I get home, you know, I make sure it's on a timely fashion for the kids.
Yeah, because we eat when the kids eat. Yeah, but like when you're on the truck, you only eat when you're hungry because you're driving all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And even then it's like, well, do I stop or do I grab some, you know?
Yeah. And one of her big quotes was, stop bowing down to the refrigerator and bow down to God.
Listen, I don't want to hear it.
She had some really good ones. So then she founded a church, the Remnant Fellowship Church. in 1999.
Okay.
And then shortly in 2000 or 2001, she announced to all of her church members, I don't know what, and Wikipedia said in the email, but in the documentary, it showed her doing it like in a video, like in front of all of her followers, that she was denouncing the Holy Trinity, and they were just going to worship God and Jesus Christ.
Hold on.
Yeah. And she lost a ton of followers. Like she lost a book deal. She was removed from the Women of Faith website. And a lot of employees left her staff and actually sued her because when they were still there, they were being told that they had to go to her church and follow the denouncing the Holy Trinity. Yeah. To work for her.
But okay, like, hold on, go back. Denouncing the Holy Trinity because you're going to just praise God. Aren't they the same thing?
Yeah, that's what's so confusing to me. But I mean, I've never really studied Christianity that much. I was a Christian briefly for 2 years, and yeah, I have no interest in Christianity. But from what I understood, I don't really know what the Holy Trinity is completely, other than the Father.
That's it.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay. I don't know exactly what the Holy Spirit are, but the Father is God, and then the Son is Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is God on earth.
Okay.
So what is right?
Going back to when I did follow Christianity, God presented himself on earth by providing his Son, aka him, to human population. Easter, Christianity's Easter, is around when Jesus died. Excuse me. Jesus died for your sins, and his Spirit, Holy Spirit, rose from the dead, promising to return again at the end of days.
Okay, so they're literally all God.
Yeah, I mean, according to the biblical text, that is what they are.
Right. Okay. And so, and they're like a religion founded on completely following the Bible verbatim. So yeah, I could see how that would be huge. So the church's building was completed in 2004 on 40 acres that she purchased in Brentwood, Tennessee.
Now, was the whole building the 40 acres?
No, it's huge. This church is massive and ostentatious, and you should see her mansion too. Oh. Ridiculous. Okay, so her church, the Remnant Fellowship Church, was founded on the practices of the Church of Christ, minus the Holy Trinity.
Yeah. Okay.
But which is funny because as we talked about in the beginning, the Church of Christ women aren't allowed to talk in church or
but
she's literally running the church. But you can I don't want to go too super into it, but on the documentary they talk about the leadership, and basically Gwen was running everything, but she had these fake leaders of these 8 men that she said were above her, but they all just did whatever she told them to do.
Oh, so she was presenting
that the men were running the church. Yeah.
Misogynistic world. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Not that a cult makes sense, but okay. So wait, we haven't gotten to the culty part yet.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the culty stuff yet. But anyway, she was described as being so joyful and charismatic about her relationship with God. She had this amazing relationship with God that she made people jealous that she was so close to God. She was very charismatic on when you watch the documentary, or you can even look up clips. She is very the evangelistic, give me all your money, but the way that they get people in is that relationship of salvation with God that they promise. She literally talks about God that's her best friend. Yeah.
I mean,
she's the only person in the room type of personality, and her hair was fucking huge. Seriously, Google pictures. Seriously. All right, Google pictures of her, but look at pictures from from the 80s and then recent ones. Ridiculous.
Okay. Shimmering. We'll keep going.
She also pulled the card that she talked to God directly. He told her things directly. which is a big red flag, culty red flag there.
Holy cow. Okay, listen, like, I know you can't see this, but if you were to Google this woman's hair, like, what?
Some of the parishioners that left the church talk about how it just got bigger over years. Like, over the years, it just got bigger and bigger.
Oh, God. I mean, like, the only thing I can imagine describing it as is if you took Elvira's wig and bleached it blonde, and then somebody pulled the pin, because it's up there. I mean, up there.
Yeah.
And then it's just down to her shoulders. Maybe a little further. But, geez, that is some crazy hairdo right there.
Yeah. The parishioners also talked about, like, back in the 80s and 90s when she first started out, she dressed very conservative, like Midwestern mom Christian, like, or Southern Christian mom. And then as time went on, she dressed more scandally, especially after she married her second husband.
I was going to say, in that photo, that is not conservative in the least bit.
So, she was very popular, and a lot of people really loved her because they were losing weight. They did feel like they were getting fulfillment from her. They did feel like they were developing a better relationship with God. And so she started to get, like, kind of power crazy with that and started to believe that her program for losing weight could be applied to all things in life. Like, oh, you're feeling a little bit sad? Don't take antidepressants. Pray. Like, yeah, that kind of thing. Like, yeah. Oh, you want to drink your life away? Don't drink. Pray. Yes, that was, yeah.
Okay, on that one, somebody somewhere is going to be like, you know, that it could be a thing.
But, okay, she did claim to be a prophet at one point in some of the clips I saw, and that her church was the one true church.
Oh, there's the culty.
Here's the culty.
There's the culty. Yeah.
That's where things start to get a little culty. In my notes I wrote.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
After that, the people, after, like, she denounced the Holy Trinity, the people that stayed with the church said that she started to demonstrate more power over them by, like, it started with, like, everybody had to look picture perfect. Any of the people that were struggling to lose the weight or weren't keeping the weight off were kind of left out of the photos and the videos for promotions. And, like, she was one of those live stream churches, you know, too.
So
like,
not Ken and Barbie.
Yeah, exactly. So, like,
all right, I'm out. Got it.
And people that couldn't keep the weight off started to be personally belittled by Gwen and other leadership in the church. Yeah. People who left the church for any reason were excommunicated by the rest of the church. People lost family by leaving the church. See?
100% culty. Okay, got it.
She also said that when people were in concentration camps during World War II and ate less food, they lost weight.
Hail Hitler, anyone?
Yeah, like, she literally used the Holocaust to tell people to eat less. Like, she said that on TV.
Yeah, all right.
Like, there was video of it. Like,
all right.
Okay, so in 2018, she divorced her longtime hubby, which I feel like we didn't talk about at all. And besides the fact that when they got married and that they had 2 kids, but his name was David Shamblin, and he was overweight, so obviously he had to go. Like, they said that he was in the beginning, he was in the picture, but he didn't really agree with her making money off of religion, and so he stopped coming to church. And then I think when he continued to be overweight and not really agreeing with everything she was doing, like, she kind of kept him completely out of the picture. And then she divorced him in 2018, and that same year she married her new hubby. What was his name? Joe Lara. Yeah, Joe Lara, who was an actor, a failed actor.
A failed actor.
Yes.
All right. You're a failure. Just become a leader of church. Cool.
And as soon as they got married, they mounted this huge campaign against Joe Lara's ex for full custody of her daughter. Her name's Natasha Pavlovich, and she literally exhausted every attempt with every kind of child court lawyer to fight for custody, 50-50 split custody of her daughter, to the point where she decided to represent herself. And it was really emotional, and I just wanted to give her a shout out. I didn't look up the daughter's name because they didn't say it in the documentary. that she like really made me happy in my feels about like saying that she would go to the ends of the earth to protect her daughter from that cult. And can you imagine, like, you're living your life having a pretty decent co-parenting relationship, and all of a sudden your ex marries a multi-millionaire cult leader and is trying to take custody of your child to bring them in the cult.
Oh God, yeah, no, no, if oh no, I can't even.
Apparently his friends say he was like a serial sugar baby for cougars.
Oh.
He was also a failed country music singer at one point. He did a lot of fucked up stuff to his ex. Like, he actually, to try to get custody of her originally before he met Gwen, he accused his ex of sexually abusing their daughter.
Wow.
And she actually got arrested. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, not a good person.
No.
But Gwen Shamblin married him and made him a leader of her church.
I mean, if you're gonna start a cult, go with the dark side. It's fine.
Yeah. All right. Something I think I mentioned, like the lavish mansion, but she also spoiled her sugar baby husband with lavish vacations on the church's dime. Just something to make note on.
I just want to point out, if somebody wants to be my sugar mama, I'm down. I mean, you want to pay for my lifestyle?
So, to be a member of the church, not only did you have to go to church, but you also had to pay to take the way down classes. You had to pay to buy the DVDs, and you had to buy these like workbooks for to fill out when you watch the DVDs.
Oh, so you're going to do all this, but you're going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
And so, like, the town that they live in, so there is people that aren't a part of the church that live in that town. It's called Brentwood. But the church is huge, and people have moved from all over the country to live near Gwen. And she has made so many relationships with so many people that have so many skills that basically all the businesses in that town are church-owned.
Oh.
Yes, because of all these prominent business owners are bigwigs in the church.
No,
okay?
Of course they are.
So to leave this cult, you not only are going to possibly lose your family, lose custody of your kids, but you're also going to lose your fucking job.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, no. No, God, that's. Oh, you want to leave? You literally have to leave.
I forgot to read this quote about the DVDs. When she was promoting one of her like workbooks, she was like, instead of buying food this week, buy this book.
Yeah, it's okay to starve. It's fine. I mean, hell, Hitler and all.
Yeah. Oh, something to make mention about like her kids. Gwen's daughter Elizabeth had a baby. She has like four kids, but she had a baby that died at 5 months old at SIDS in his sleep. Gwen and the entire church completely ignored this happening, and they never talked about it. Like, the next day they had church services after the baby died, and nobody said anything, because the way that Gwen taught the doctrine was that if anything bad happened to you, it meant that God was judging you for something you did.
I mean, there's reason to judge, but
yeah,
that's fucked up.
Also,
didn't even like acknowledge that. Hey,
your grandchild died. Yeah,
and you're grieving. Nothing. What?
Yeah.
All right.
So her son Michael was said to be very bright and happy and the type to talk to everyone in the beginning of the church. But then in later years, he was the quiet one. He left the church. He actually tried to leave the church multiple times, but his mother forced him to come back, forced him to marry a woman in the church and have kids with her. Yeah. It was said he suffered from depression, which wasn't allowed because you weren't right with God if you had depression. And that he struggled with his weight up and down. And when his weight was up, he was a leader of the church, and he was like the music producer for the church. He wrote a lot of music. Okay. But when his weight was up, he wasn't featured like in any videos or up on stage. Yeah, he just produced the music behind the scenes.
Oh, sorry guys, I ate a sandwich.
Yeah,
today.
Imagine what kind of like that could do to your self-esteem.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of women who were in the church started to have issues with eating disorders.
Imagine that.
They would try to leave the church, but they would be married to men that were in the church, and Gwen would threaten them that she would sick her lawyers on them and take custody of their kids away. And not just to the women. I'm just saying that there were a lot of women that came forward. There were former members that tried to leave because they were having an eating disorder from the church doctrine.
Right.
And were told that if they left, they would lose their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure it happened to men too.
Oh, yeah.
So we talked about the super evangelical practices and the stuff that she pushed and how, like, that's the way it was.
Right.
And one of those was divorce, but, she was allowed to have the divorce. And they were, like, actually a lot of people left the church when she divorced her first husband. Because they weren't allowed to have a divorce.
Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't that kind of like a lot of several cults that I can think off the top of my head? You're not allowed to do this, but it's okay if I do.
So here's where it gets dark. So another thing that they practiced was corporal punishment on their children.
No.
Yeah. Because, I mean, obviously, like, you can't glorify God if your kids aren't obedient. Obedience was actually a big thing, was in a lot of the videos, which you see in a lot of cults. Like, she really pushed obedience. But obviously, little children aren't the most obedient.
Yeah, don't we know?
So, Joseph and Sonia Smith, they were members of the church. Mm-hmm. They were actually in some videos.
Oh, okay.
In the documentary, talking about how the church helped them with their kids.
Oh, helped them.
Yes. On October 8, 2003, Joseph and Sonia Smith killed their 8-year-old son.
Yeah, and there it is.
His name was Joseph, also with an F, but the father was Joseph with a PH.
So one's biblical, one's not?
Yeah. Joseph disciplined Joseph several times, striking him repeatedly with a glue stick.
What? Wait. A glue stick? Like, we're talking... Okay, you've got a glue stick here in front of us. Like, this thing is maybe 8 inches long, and it's not even a whole inch round. How?
Let me get into that.
Oh, okay. Also, ow.
County medical examiners concluded that 8-year-old Joseph Smith died as a result of acute and chronic abuse.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and the documentary said it was the worst case of child abuse they had ever seen. His entire body was covered in cuts and bruises, like literally every inch of his skin, other than the palms of his hands and the bottom of his feet.
Trigger
was
warning.
Covered in sorry, trigger warning. That was making me teary-eyed.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, so Joseph and Sonia's like original defense story, and I know that the police said that the cause of death was a head injury. But their story was that he hit his head on a banister and had a seizure right after. And then they promptly locked him in a box for a couple of hours.
So what really happened was I smacked him hard enough with a glue stick to knock his ass out and then put him in a box.
Yeah.
Why?
And then they found him dead later that day. They went to church, actually, after they locked him in the box, I believe.
Oh.
Sonia and Joseph routinely disciplined Joseph by beating him with a foot-long glue stick.
A foot-long glue stick?
Mm-hmm. Belts and heated coat hangers.
No.
Locking him in confined spaces for extended periods of time. Tying his hands with rope.
That's not discipline, that's torture.
Yeah. Mrs. Smith told police that she normally gave the children their whippings in increments of 10 blows each. And that Joseph had gotten several of those whipping sessions on the day of his death. And actually that was taught by Gwen, that you give them 10 whippings each. A lot of other ex-members said that.
Oh, I don't even want to get into that. All
right. The police reported that the Smiths locked Joseph in his room to pray to a picture of Jesus on the ceiling and in a closet for days and even weeks at a time. He was given only a bucket for a toilet.
So did they feed him? I mean, this is a food
Didn't
cult.
find anything about that completely. And one of their older sons sometimes held Joseph down while the parents beat him with things.
What the?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, members of the Remnant Church, led by Shamblin, paid for the defense of the Smiths. Like, they had a website up that they were innocent and everything.
Oh, of course. Because, it's an abusive thing. It's fine.
So they were convicted, if that makes you feel any better.
It does.
And they were sentenced to life plus 30 years in prison on March 27th, 2007.
That's good to know.
So they're still in prison.
Thankfully.
Yeah. That's the maximum punishment they could get.
Life plus 30? Yeah. I mean, I'm good.
Also to know, Joseph and Sonia had another child die 11 weeks before they killed Joseph, their 7-year-old. Yeah. So reportedly, it was reported by the medical examiner that was SIDS. So, I mean, it could have been grief.
Examining that?
Yeah. I feel like it's really messed up, but possibly they could have been like victims themselves of the church.
Okay.
I feel like the church should have been held responsible.
Well, yeah, 100%.
But they weren't.
100%. But at the same time, though, like, you have to have a moral.
The police actually... Oh, sorry. You finished.
No, you're fine. That's just...
The police actually did go into the church to investigate because they knew they were somewhat prominent members of the church. And they found tapes of Gwen Shamblin on the phone with Sonia. And Sonia is saying, being so thankful to her, saying, like, how everything they told her to do was working so well, about how they had locked their son in his room for days, and he's a different child.
Yeah.
And then Gwen praising them for their conviction to God.
So wait, you said it was taped? How?
Yeah, it was taped because she taped all of her phone calls. Again, culty as fuck. Yeah, they taped all of their phone calls. Well, I mean, I think she taped that to be like a testimonial.
Oh, yeah. A testimonial. I just beat my son to death. It's fine. It works. It's great, guys.
How much do you hate Gwen?
Well, I don't think there's a scale for that, my dear.
Well, I'm about to rock your socks because on May 29th, 2021, Gwen and 6 church leaders, including her husband Joe and son-in-law Brandon Hanna, were killed when her private jet bound for Palm Beach, Florida. They were going to a MAGA event.
What's a MAGA?
A Trump supporter event. Crashed into Percy Priest Lake near Smyrna, Tennessee, shortly after takeoff. And that was that. Yeah. Apparently her husband Joe had like a hobby of flying and was an inexperienced pilot. And that's what it was kind of chalked up to.
Yeah, I think there's like a minimum you're supposed to be able to fly before you can fly passengers even, let alone longer distances or whatever. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Also, the day of the crash, some higher-ups in the church had a wedding plan for like one of the kids of the higher-ups. They still went on with the wedding. The day of the crash. And no one said anything about the crash. They acted like nothing happened. Completely. Really? Yeah, because of their beliefs. Obviously, God was judging Gwen for something she was doing wrong.
Imagine that. Like, I wonder. All right.
So Gwen left all of her millions to her kids and $0 to the church.
Sounds.
She did leave, like, publishing rights to all of her books and tapes to the church.
Yeah.
I guess her daughter, Elizabeth, has kind of been running the church ever since. But she hasn't been to the church in person, just on like video call because she went into seclusion.
Kind of questions whether she knows that it's culty or if she's hiding because of the shit her mom did.
You should look up her daughter, Elizabeth Hanna. She looks emaciated, thin. Like, yeah.
Not helpful.
Scary, yeah. But,
she's like, it's fine, I'm bulimic behind doors. And
her son, Michael, served divorce papers to his wife that he didn't want to be with, and left the church.
Oh, all right, cool.
The church is actually still going. I don't know if I saw like they had a follow-up episode that just came out to the documentary, because I saw this documentary like a year ago or something. They did have some more like new ex-followers interviewing, but there was like thousands of members of the church, so I think it's still going pretty strong.
Do you think because the daughter's now running the show, it's less culty, or is this going to continue to be culty?
I mean, if you look at history of other churches like this, like the FLDS, usually it gets worse. After the leader dies.
Oh.
Or they just all kill
each other, or are forced to disband one way or another?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I went on the church website, and like they changed leadership completely. It looks like they have like a bunch of new leaders.
Okay.
And they're still offering like for you to watch it live or to come to the church, and they have like summer school programs and Bible study programs and all, and the way down services are still classes are still there. So
if anybody wants to, join a cult and I don't know, emaciate yourself, there's that. That's 100% a joke. Please don't take that seriously.
No.
Because that's dangerous for one.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I kind of like the conspiracy theory that I heard that they aren't actually dead, but they're in hiding because they don't want to go to jail for like abusing children or tax evasion or whatever.
Gee. Fake my death.
But I mean, she didn't take her millions, so.
Well, okay. If you want to go on that, pull out your tinfoil hat. Now we're running into my zone. B.B. Cooper, money was found, like most of it, and the dude's gone. But he could be dead, but they never found the body. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. Jeez.
Also, I really want to talk about the FLDS church sometime. That's definitely going to come out.
Oh boy,
that's a messed up one.
Good Lord.
That is also another cult that is still going strong. Their leader's in prison, isn't that crazy?
Well, I mean, so are gangs, but hey, well, some of them. Wow.
What is that?
Well, before I tell you what that is, I want to tell you a fun fact. Actually, a random fact. But it kind of applies to both of our things because you talked about the Holy Trinity. My thing also brings up the Holy Trinity. Do you know why the Holy Trinity is a triangle, aside from being Father, Son, and Holy Ghost?
No.
Geometrically speaking, the triangle is the equilateral triangle is the strongest shape you can create, because it doesn't matter which way you put it, it will always be able to bear all weight provided.
Okay.
Yeah. Random fact. Now you want to hear how that applies to
always learning something new.
Yeah. So, what do you know about conspiracy theories?
Well, actually, I know a little bit about conspiracy theories because it's one of my interests.
Oh, yeah?
But, I will definitely let you educate me.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you know about symbolism and conspiracy of the U.S. currency?
I've definitely heard some stuff about that before because I used to watch this show, God, what's his name? It was called Conspiracy Theory. And the guy who ran it, he used to be a pro wrestler. Jesse Ventura.
Oh, okay.
Conspiracy Theories with Jesse Ventura, and he talks about the Illuminati, and they bring up the dollar bill.
Yeah.
The symbolism in it, yeah.
All right, well, you ready for this?
Yeah.
So, I am talking about only two areas of conspiracies that have to do with our U.S. currency.
Okay.
All right, so a little background and where it correlates to the conspiracy. So the number 13 is all over the $1 bill. Okay. All over. Any guess why? 13 original colonies. Per historical reasoning. There's little questions behind that if you're, wearing your tinfoil hat. But you can find...
I don't wear a tinfoil hat.
Right. So you can find 13 feathers on the American eagle. You can find 13 stripes in the seal. Oh. You can find 13 stars above the eagle in the American seal.
Okay.
You can find 13 arrows in the eagle's, I can't remember which side it is, but you can find it in his claw. And you can find 13 rows on the pyramid on the other side. Now, reason for the pyramid built as incomplete and it being a pyramid is because, one, strongest shape, and two, per the founding fathers, pyramid that is incomplete shows that we are at a stable ground starting our nation and we're continuing building. That is their reasoning. But not if you're wearing that tinfoil hat of yours, because it's just a big old triangle, ain't it? What does that triangle have to do with anything? The Illuminati. Hey, you said something about the Illuminati. Well, you ready for this one? The Latin phrases around the pyramid and the all-seeing eye have a little confusion because if you translate, if I want to say it's the bottom one, yeah, I think it's the bottom one. Let me pull up my picture here because I brought a picture to provide for you what I'm talking about for once. So, yeah, here we go. All right. So this Novus Ordo Seclorum on the bottom of right here underneath the pyramid on the $1 bill, that translates as one from many, one from women, one from none, and I think there was something else, but I didn't write it out. But yeah, it doesn't...
That's a lot of words for 3 words.
Seclorum, yeah. Because seclorum, translated from Latin, doesn't have a clear English translation.
Okay.
But it's a little strange that it means that one nation from many in essentials. Okay? Many would. Because we only came from England. Mm-hmm. That's not many.
Well, I mean, we did come from other countries. I mean, yes, like the Pilgrims, like
right, but I mean the founding of the country is separating from England, okay, and Europe, okay. Yeah. I understand it's one from many, but anyway, conspiracy theories isn't the Illuminati many,
Yeah.
Now the pyramid.
Do you want to explain what the Illuminati is?
I'm actually going to do that on a whole nother episode.
Okay.
But shorthand, the Illuminati is an actual group that was founded with Galileo. It was kind of a science versus the church thing, but we'll get into that on another episode.
Okay.
So, the all-seeing eye. Now, what it's supposed to mean, per historical fact, is the triangle around the eyeball is the Holy Trinity. Okay? Father, Son, Holy Ghost.
Uh-huh.
The little shiny bit on the outside of the triangle is supposed to be glory. And the all-seeing eye is the eye of Christianity's God overseeing the nation's growth, overseeing the pyramid's growth. However, you see that all-seeing eye in Freemasonry, and the Illuminati, and many, many other occultist stuff, like across the board, you'll see it. And it kind of questions, is it the one world nation, which is also another group I want to talk about? Is it the Illuminati? Is it is there a secret society behind the government controlling our nation? All right. Another reference that I think you'll enjoy this reference. The book and movie 1984. Mm-hmm. Big Brother is always watching. That would be the eye. So now here's a hidden little detail. Depends on who you listen to, who you talk to. There are 2 hidden spiders or owls, or it could just be where the lines intersect on the dollar bill. Mm-hmm. But at the bottom of the $1 bill, where it says ONE, over by the N or the E, I think, it looks like an owl. And up at the circle around the 1, it has another owl shape. Or spider, because it kind of looks spider-ishy because of how the design looks. People have said, well, it's spider webs, so it must be a spider. Others are like, well, it's a hidden owl because it's the hidden knowledge of the nation, because there's so many hidden artifacts or hidden messages within one symbolic $1 bill. Mm-hmm. All right. But you could also connect that to the knowledge of the Illuminati, the knowledge of the Freemasons, because they both use a symbolic owl in their representations at some point. And I can't remember what group it is, but you might know because there was a lot of presidents that have went to it. It's an all men's group that meet once a year. They're just the top of the top tier, money in your pocket kind of people. And it's all men. They go praise an owl in a wood somewhere. I don't know. I'll have to look that one up sometime because I remember something of that. So, just a little fun fact about the dollar bill, the $1 bill. I'm pretty sure this applies to all, but it kept being referenced as the $1 bill. Okay. There's a very simple, quick, fast, easy way to tell whether your dollar bill is fake or real. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking at your dollar bill and you see the circle with the letter inside of it, those letters actually represent the place where it was printed. So like Philadelphia or LA or something like that. So it's your treasury where they print the paper. That letter is supposed to match the first letter of the serial number. And the last letter of the serial number has to do with how many times that number was printed. Maximum is 22.
So you can just tell me how to make counterfeit money now.
I mean, if you figure it out, let me know, because we're going to need some.
I know, right?
So it's just a little quick tip to see if like your $100 bill or whatever is fake, is because if that letter before the serial number doesn't match, then you have an issue. That's fake instantly. There's also a thing that was brought up. I don't care to look into it right this minute, but there are certain serial numbers that actually make your $1 bill worth millions because they're misprints or rare prints or like a rare dollar bill that wasn't supposed to be in circulation anymore, because the average circulation of a $1 bill is 6.6 years. Because I guess there's like this whole thing where they come in and find all the old dollar bills and just burn them.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it's just
we have paper. This huge deficit.
It's just
But what the fuck is money then? Like, what is it
right.
then? Like, really?
And I got to give a shout out to actually 2 podcasts I've listened to now have said this, but the one that stands out in my head is Dan Cummins and his wife, Lindsay. They have Scared to Death, which one of my favorite podcasts. Uh-huh. They bring up the fact in one of their most recent episodes that money has no value because we as people have put a standard to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, oh, our money isn't worth anything now because of the gold standard. We don't rely on gold anymore. Gold's a rock.
Right.
So why is it? Okay, that's a whole different thing. Because there's a conspiracy theory behind diamonds too.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
Which has actually been a little proven true, but we'll get into that later. All right, so for the real conspiracy theories behind all this, 100% went over the Illuminati and Freemasons touching the triangles, the eye, the owls. Is there a new world order involved in this? But the one I really want to get to you today is folding the one. Now, the one has it's a whole different thing, but the 5, 10, 20, 50, and $100 bill all pertain to 9/11. Yeah. So, have you ever folded 5 to 100 hot dog style? You know, like
I've seen videos about this. Yes,
right.
Like where you can fold the bills a certain way, and it looks like the towers are burning down. Yes, I've seen pictures of this. It's freaking crazy. You definitely gotta look it up if you've never heard of it.
Right. So here's a quick picture.
There are so many conspiracies about 9/11. We could have a whole podcast episode about that.
Yeah, I could. So here's quick pictures that I have of it. Okay, so here's the 5.
I've seen them. It's crazy.
So if you're not looking at this or don't care to look it up, if you fold the $5 bill, it looks like the Twin Towers are standing side by side in a viewpoint off in the distance. The $10 bill looks like when it got struck by the first plane. Now, any trigger warnings, I apologize, guys. This is just a reference point to what it looks like. Oh, yes.
Sorry. We definitely should have done a disclosure or something.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the podcast. Okay. Future Cassie or Stuart, insert disclosure at beginning of podcast.
100%. So the $10 bill looks like when the first plane struck, it's just got the bellowing smoke at the top of the towers.
Uh-huh.
That's what it looks like. $20 bill looks like after the second plane strike. It's lower down and it's bellowing smoke up higher. The $50 bill is as they're collapsing. You can see part of the buildings. However, it's all smoke.
Mm-hmm.
It's white smoke at that. So it's like dust and clouds, whatever. The $100 bill, it's a brand new building. Which, guess what? I don't remember what year it was now. I should have done my research on that. But there are certain times where they'll use the lights on the memorial and it'll look like the Twin Towers are standing. But they're also talking about using the rubble to build one building. Not on the same location, but close by.
Okay.
To kind of recreate a World Trade Center. Now, here's the conspiracy part of that. Aside from the fact that it's 100% strange that if you fold those bills and it looks like the Twin Towers in session.
Strange. Do you think it could be a coincidence, though?
Oh, well, I mean, it depends. Are you a time traveler? Because guess when these bills were printed?
What?
The design for the 5, 10, 20, 50, and $100 bill that have these on the back of them, 1996.
What the fuck?
Went into circulation starting February 1998. 3 years before the attack on...
That's crazy.
Yeah. Now...
I've heard a lot of I've never deep dived in it, maybe because of my trauma. I feel like us as a nation were traumatized by 9/11.
I mean,
100%.
Lest we forget.
Like, I mean, I live close to DC, so like it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
When it happened. But anyway, like I feel like I've seen a lot of conspiracies of people that have predicted 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's even Nostradamus is noted as predicting 9/11 at one point. I mean, some of those I kind of question.
Nostradamus. Okay.
What did I say?
No, you said it
right.
right.
I said it right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Nostradamus.
Yeah.
Like he oh man, some of his predictions.
So. I think you said it right.
Yeah. Some of his predictions are like you're like, okay, that couldn't be true. But he predicted Hitler. Yeah, there's a whole thing on that. Not on a conspiracy theory. It's like actually proven, like in his predictions of whatever. He doesn't use the word Hitler, but it's like Hitler or something like that.
Mm.
And if you use, can't remember I can't remember if he's Italian or if he's Greek.
Oh God.
Yeah.
He's just revealing how stupid we are.
Listen, I never said I was a smart man.
No, I'm not smart.
But
just so you know, guys, everything, like
now
80% of that, what I just, excuse me, presented was from Wikipedia. And a documentary that I watched.
She says she's not a smart person. However, she will correct me on shit out of the blue about stuff that she's fanatic about.
That doesn't mean I'm smart. That just means I'm an asshole.
No. You have to have some intelligence to be an asshole. But yeah.
I like that. That should go on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Hey, that is a good idea. Somebody write that down. The only one that I kind of questioned when it came to looking at like their symbolisms on the $1 bill was if you fold it the exact same ways as you fold the 5 through the 100. If you fold the $1 bill, it looks like a totem pole, Native American totem pole, except for it's raging because the arrows and the olive branch are pointed down. Like somebody's pissed and about to stab your ass. So, yeah, I mean, there's that. I think that's about all I got. Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of questions about, whether the Illuminati is pushing the background. And, I mean, if you really think about the currency in general, but that really does push the question when you fold those bills, knowing when they were printed and designed. Was 9/11 planned?
I mean, let's talk about that.
Yeah. Maybe on a later episode.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
So, yeah.
So this is that. And that is this.
Yeah, that was this and that with
me and you.
Yeah.
All right. Good night. Or day or whatever.
Whenever
later.
You're listening.
Yeah. Bye.
Oh my gosh, you guys. So, Stuart did a fun fact, and I have a word of the day calendar because I wanted to improve my vocabulary. So, I'm going to read the word of the day. It's Friday, May 19th, 2023, and the word of the day is Baroque.
Like, I'm broke? I mean...
It's an adjective of relating to or having the characteristics of a 17th century artistic style employing complex forms and bold ornamentation. Characterized by grotesqueness, extravagance, complexity, or flamboyancy.
Oh, so like when you go to a haunted house and they have very Baroque style.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Did you know Baroque came to English from the French word baroque, I think that's what that is, meaning irregularly shaped. At first, the word in French was used mostly to refer to pearls.
Because it's broke.
Eventually, it came to describe an extravagant style of art characterized by curving lines, gilt and gold.
Oh.
This type of art was sometimes considered to be excessively decorated and overly complicated.
Aren't they all?
It makes sense, therefore, that the meaning of the word Baroque has broadened to include anything that seems excessively ornate or elaborate.
Nice.
So that was it.
Okay.
All right. Bye for real.
Yeah. Bye for real.